we go, getting started with blockchain. I'm putting this up on YouTube. All right, so welcome everybody. Welcome to the webinar. Welcome Alexandra as well.
Hello, thank you, Rob.
Hello, hello. Start with blockchain. Right, we're gonna mute this. All right, cool. So let me share my screen here and we'll get started. All right, actually, you know what, let me share a different screen. I'm gonna change. You guys can see the webinar there going on. I'm going to share a different screen here with number one. There you go. Okay, great. So welcome to our webinar today, getting started with blockchain programming. Very, very exciting topic. I know myself personally, I'm very excited about learning this stuff. This is stuff that's changing the world. Let's be honest, right? Without actually, there's no embellishment there. It's actually changed the world for real. You know, everything from investment banking to lending to, you know, financing of deals to NFTs to crypto coins to, you know, all sorts of amazing things happening with this technology. So definitely very excited about this sort of thing. And I hope you are too, right? One thing I want to bring up very quickly before we get started is right now we're streaming on YouTube, right? So if you go into YouTube, you search for Lumiwealth, right? You're going to find our YouTube channel, right? We're growing pretty quickly in terms of subscribers. Make sure you subscribe to us. Make sure you ring the bell so that you get the notifications. Like for example, for those people that rang the bell, they got a notification right now that we're going live, right? Which is a very good thing because you're getting a lot of free content and you're learning about some cool new stuff. So I definitely recommend that you guys do the same. I'm going to put the link into the chat here for you guys, so it's a little bit easier for you guys to join this. So here's that link. But I mean, it's very easy for you to find. Go into YouTube, type in Lumiwealth, L-U-M-I, wealth, right? Like illuminate your wealth, right, kind of thing. And you can see here that this is basically what we're looking at right now. This is a live session that we're doing right now. As soon as this live session ends, it is going to turn into a recorded video. So if you guys want to see a recording of what happened today, you want to rewatch it, you want to see a certain part again, whatever, you can do so here. All right, so just so you guys know, make sure you look at us on YouTube. All right. So I'm going to kick this off today. Here's our agenda. Basically, we're going to start off with getting to know you guys a little bit. Who's on the call? Tell us a little bit about yourselves so you can tailor this to you. We're going to do an introduction to, you know, ourselves, to Alexandra, to myself, to Lumiwealth, and all other topics around the matter. And then we're going to get into the meat of things, right? We're going to get into the stuff that you guys really care about. You know, why learn blockchain? You know, what are Bitcoin? What's Ethereum? What are the differences? What are smart contracts? Like all the really cool stuff, all the stuff that like everyone, to be honest, you won't stop talking about because it's really valuable, right? You know, in some ways, I think blockchain can replace the entire banking industry. You know, I don't think that's a very far stretch to say that sort of thing. I think that it can replace government in some ways. And I think that it can create some really new and innovative things we haven't even thought of yet. Just like when the internet first came out, you know, we had an idea the internet can improve communications, that sort of thing. But then, you know, there came Uber and Airbnb, and, you know, there's all these other things that can happen, right? And I think there's the same way. You know, people are calling blockchain Web 3.0. I agree with them very much, right? So we'll get into that. But before we get into that, let's get to know you guys a little bit, and let's get the ball rolling. All right. Okay. So we have some people on the call right now. For those of you that are on the call, please let me know these three things, right? What is your occupation, right? What do you guys do for a living? Are you guys programmers? Are you guys finance people? Or are you doing something very different, right? Do you know how to code, right? Have you ever written a line of code in your life, or are you completely new to this? And believe me, we've made this program very approachable. So whether you know how to code or you don't, it's not a big deal. It's very easy for you to learn this sort of thing. We spend a lot of time on that. It's funny because people that know how to code, there's still a very different thing to learn, right? And people that don't know how to code, we've made it very easy for you to like get into this sort of thing, right? So we've made it very approachable from both sides. And then also, do you have any experience with blockchain or crypto, right? Have you traded Bitcoin before or Ethereum, or do you own Solana? Have you ever written a Solidity contract? Let us know. Let me know what your kind of background is in this. What's your occupation? Do you know how to code? What's your blockchain experience, right? I'll kick it off, right? And by the way, type this into the chat here, right? We have a chat. It's basically like a little chat bubble thing that you can see. For me, it's a little different because I'm the host, but it's basically, you know, a chat looking icon. Click on that and then just type it in, right? You know, this is my experience. This is what I've done, right? So for me, I could tell you my occupation. I'm the CEO of Lumiwealth, right? I still do a lot of code. I love code. I love writing code. I think this is like one of the most fun things. I used to be a kid. I started coding when I was maybe 12 years old and never really stopped. It's something that I love to do. It's like a hobby of mine. Tell me something fun to do. I like to like sit down and write some cool new program, right? But my occupation really is the CEO of Lumiwealth. My job is to really make this company grow and flourish, and to make sure that you guys are happy and really learning and growing, right? Do I know how to code? Yes, I know how to code. Almost 25 years now. It's been quite a while. Like I said, I started when I was very young. And then how much blockchain experience do you have? Well, I mean, I don't think any of us are super proficient in blockchain just because it's so new. But I think I traded my first Bitcoin, Ethereum, or you know, any kind of crypto maybe about 6 years ago, which I guess is in crypto world is quite a while ago. I worked at a company called Voyager, where we actually built out a crypto broker, right? So we built out a Coinbase competitor. That company's worth like $3 billion now. So that's very nice. I was employee number 4 there, so definitely paid me off pretty well in terms of the equity ownership of the company. Yeah, so that's kind of my experience. But I see here that you guys are writing in, and this is more important to me, what you guys are up to. So Alexandria says, Alexandra, by the way, very similar name. It's very cool. So occupation, AWS cloud consultant, prior financial advisor at Merrill Lynch. You sound like this sounds like this is very much up your alley. Coding, yes, but continuously learning. Blockchain, traded ETH and BTC, but still a beginner. I think we're all still beginners in this, to be quite honest with you. This is growing out quite quickly. Alexandria, welcome. It's very nice. It sounds like this is right up your alley, working in the things that you're doing and kind of your background. Ronaldo, welcome again. You're here again for a second time. It's great. Crypto holder, yes. Python, I know you've been learning Python. It's awesome. Zero blockchain, which is why I'm here. Exactly. Let's learn this. Let's build some cool stuff. Let's build some amazing things from this. Charles says he's a commodity trader. Ronaldo says Voyager for the win. Awesome. Thank you, Ronaldo. That's fantastic. Chris, occupation financial advisor at Transamerica. And Alexandria says, nice to meet you all. Nice to meet you, Alexandria. Thank you very much for being here. It's fantastic. So yeah, so sounds like you guys, this sounds like so far what I'm hearing, you guys have some amount of coding experience where we're talking to people that have a little bit of coding experience. You guys are not brand new to this. I don't know who else hasn't responded, but at least there's some competency in that. And a lot of you guys are working in finance, which makes a lot of sense. By the way, just to bring this up, we had a student that came in recently, and he wanted to learn some of our algorithmic trading stuff. He switched over to the blockchain course, and by doing that, his company is actually willing to pay for this. So for those of you that are working at the Merrill Lynch's of the world, or what other Transamerica, I really wonder if your company will actually pay for this, right? This is the new and cutting edge kind of stuff. We've had other students where the company has paid for this in full. If you're working for those kind of companies, I think you can get this completely reimbursed by your company. Just a thought. I don't think you have to do that sort of thing, but that's happened recently, so I think it's worth a shot. Cool. So thank you guys, and welcome to the webinar. It's fantastic. Great to have you guys here. Okay, so let's get to introduction. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about myself and about Lumiwealth, and then I'm going to turn over to Alexandra, who is much more proficient in this stuff, knows a lot more about this stuff than I do. I'm actually planning on taking this course, by the way, because I would love to learn how to build my own blockchain Solidity contracts. I'm very much thinking about how do we make Lumicoin and how do we do NFTs for our courses. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. Um, but I'm going to defer that to Alexandra, who knows a lot more about this stuff than I do. But let me give you guys a little bit of an introduction, right? So myself personally, I've told you a little bit of myself. I've been coding for a very long time. I started when I was 12 years old, went to school, got a master's in finance, started a business. We sold it for a little over $1 million, made me enough cash to take some time off and travel a bit. Decided to travel to New York City, fell in love with the city. New York is great. Um, Ended up working there in kind of like Wall Street type companies. The first company I worked for there was Greystone. We did mortgage lending. My job was basically running a software team. I hired a bunch of people there, always software. I was always very software related. We hired a bunch of people there, built out some software where we can use artificial intelligence or machine learning to understand the valuation of homes and basically figure out what kind of loans we should give you and how we can process those loans, that sort of thing. I think to date, our software has probably done about 50 to $60 billion worth of loans. It's pretty cool. Very nice to start that kind of project. I ended up leaving that company because I got a job offer from another company that ended up doing a lot even better off. It was a startup. When I joined, it was, I don't know, an office in WeWork. There's 4 of us there. There's a whiteboard and a dream, right? And our dream was to create a cryptocurrency broker, kind of similar to Coinbase. Believe me, we did a good job on that dream. That company now is public. It's worth about $3 billion last time I checked. My stock options shot up like crazy. I'm very happy I took that job. Let me tell you that much. So that's kind of my background. Now, obviously, what I'm working on is something I've been very passionate about my entire life. I love software. I love investing. I think that there's a huge, huge synergy between using software to help with your investments. I think, these fund managers and these hedge fund managers are way overpaid for no reason. I think we could do what they're doing much better than what they're doing. We can be smarter than them. We can be faster than them. We can create new types of products. We could do such amazing things with software that these people would never even dreamed of doing. And for lower costs, really lower costs and cheaper and faster. That's the beauty of software, right? And that's what Lumiwealth is really all about. It's about using software to help you invest better, right? How do we use software to invest cheaper, better, faster, right? We can create new types of products. We can create blockchain instruments that, represent real estate or NFTs or crypto coins or whatever. We can make it cheaper because software inherently is very cheap. It automates things. You don't have to have people involved. It makes things very cheap and easy, and faster because, like, for example, we have our algorithmic trading course that we do algorithmic trading. I mean, I don't know about you, but our algorithms can look at 50,000 articles in about 10 seconds. Can a human being do that, right? I mean, it's amazing what software can do, and I'm a very strong believer in software in general, but really specifically in the investment industry. I think there's a lot of value to be added. It's a big industry. There's a lot of money here already, and I think that it's the time is due to really turn this over into a more software focused kind of industry. So that's myself. That's what Lumiwealth is all about. That's what we represent. That's what we care about, right? Right now, we're obviously doing a lot of that with education, right? We have several different courses where we do this. We're also working on a website where you'll be able to invest into some of our things that's coming in the future. But right now we have, 4 different courses. Our algorithmic trading course, where you learn how to build a robot that'll buy and sell stocks, options, things like that automatically. Then we have our machine learning course, which is teaching you how to use artificial intelligence to buy and sell stocks and things like that. Self-driving cars are doing amazing with automotive industry. Imagine what it could do with your investments, right? artificial intelligence, that sort of thing. We have a course on using algorithms to trade options. And now we have this blockchain course, which I think is very exciting. I'll be honest with you, this is the most excited I've been about a course for a while. And I think it's amazing because we could use this to build. Also, it's not just using intelligence to trade, it's creating new things. It's like things that have never existed before you can create. It's incredible. And even if you're not creating something that didn't exist before, you can, I mean, we're taking out the middleman, right? It's like, you know, instead of having, you know, JP Morgan create an IPO for you or create a loan or whatever, you have to go to the bank and you're paying them these crazy fees or whatever. You don't need them anymore. You do it through the blockchain, right? You're getting rid of the middleman. That's the whole value of this, right? So I'm very excited about this, and I think it's very cool. Like I said, you know, I'm very excited about this company. But yeah, so that's you know, my background. That's a little bit about Lumiwealth. You can tell my passion. This is, you know, I go off on tangents here, but I love this stuff, right? So that's a little bit about myself and Lumiwealth. Some other things I'll tell you, make sure you follow us on YouTube. I mentioned this at the beginning. I'm going to post a link again so that you guys can follow us on YouTube. Make sure, you know, I'm going to sound like one of those YouTube people. Like and subscribe, right? Ring the bell, that sort of thing. But seriously though, because we release a lot of free stuff, and I think you guys will be very interested in seeing our content. We have a lot of interviews with investment professionals and people in the crypto space, and we have, you know, webinars on our different courses. Like seriously, like and subscribe. Really, I think you'll very much appreciate what I'm saying there, right? Another really good thing is our Discord channel. I'm going to post a link and I'm going to show you a little demo of it. Right, this is our Discord. What is Discord? For those of you that don't know, is basically a chat. So it's like this. This is our algo trading, right? You could talk about Lumibot development. I need to get, there you go, Maurice. This is someone I just spoke to recently. But basically, there's so many different things that we talk about in here. It's a chat room, basically. We talk about crypto. We talk about stocks. We talk about alternative investments. You know, if you want to get to know people that have a similar kind of, you know, background or similar kind of interest as you, this is the place to go, right? Not only is there a chat, but we also do a lot of these. If I clicked on this right now, I can join a voice channel where I could speak to this person. We can do that sort of thing where we can actually talk it out, and there's a whole community around this. There's lots and lots of people in here. If you want to get to know other people with similar interests as you, this is the place to be. Get to know other people. If you want to get to know past students, you can get to know them here. If you want to get to know future students, you'll get to know them here. This is, it's really a community, and honestly, you know, we have great instructors. Alexandra's a great instructor. She's very smart and knows her stuff. But it's not just about our instructors. It's about getting to know other people like you, right? It's about the community. When you join, like when you join Harvard, right? It's not just about the instructors they have there. They're brilliant, I'm sure, but it's also your classmates, right? You get to know other people to work with and build projects, and these guys end up building, you know, Facebook and all these things like that, right? So, you know, definitely join our Discord. I put the link in there. Get to know other people in the same position. Believe me, you'll appreciate a lot. You're not alone. There's a lot of other people like you, you know. Another thing here, we have a survey at the end of the webinar. Make sure you fill that out. And then another thing that I want to say is please ask questions throughout the webinar. It's, you know, sometimes people hesitate, right? Because you're like, I don't want to interrupt or whatever. It is much better when you guys ask questions throughout. We make this more interactive. I want to get to know you. I know Alexandra wants to get to know you. We want to answer your questions. We want to learn from you and with you and together, you know, so don't hesitate until the end, right? Don't wait until the end to ask your questions. Ask them throughout. We want to know what you're thinking so we can communicate. We can have a dialogue, right? That's the beautiful thing about this, right? Okay, so that's enough about me and what I'm talking and my passions and what I care about. Let's hear from Alexandra. Everyone, that's what you guys want to hear from, and all this very cool stuff. Alexandra, do you want to introduce yourself and tell about your amazing things that you're working on and the great things that they're going to learn from you?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Rob, for introducing. And yes, I definitely echo. We love questions and interaction. My name is Alexandra Kropova. I invested in Ethereum back in 2017, and I have taught thousands of students how to build Solidity projects, just like you will in this masterclass. I've also taught the Bitcoin blockchain, Cardano, and blockchain machine learning. So I'm excited to bring you another masterclass in January. It's very exciting. I think Rob and I both share the same excitement about not just the course, but just in general about the topic and the field, because the blockchain is really the next internet. It's the next huge disruptor that's changing everything. So in this project, this masterclass, you're going to build tons of cool and cutting edge projects. You're going to leave the masterclass with a huge GitHub portfolio. So you'll have tons of projects that you can show to employers or that you can just have for yourself to build your next company or your next passion project. Today, I'm just going to tell you about some of the main topics of the course. We're not going to get too technical. That will be for the course. And we're just going to cover theory today. In the course itself, we'll be coding a lot. We'll be building projects and getting into all the nitty-gritty aspects of these topics. But to start, we want to get you all excited about how blockchain is changing the world. I'm sure you've heard of blockchain in the news. It's disrupting every industry, especially software and finance. Those are the top two. And one of the ways that blockchain is changing the world is with cryptocurrencies, which we'll get into more today. And also NFTs. You've likely heard of these non-fungible tokens that celebrities are getting in on and companies are getting in on. And it's not just hype. Companies, both large and small, are actually investing a lot of money into blockchain technology, incorporating them into their companies, hiring blockchain developers. It's not just hype. Companies are actually implementing this technology. Blockchain is changing a lot of industries, not just finance and software, but also everything from entertainment as well, like games and music. Even any industry you can think of will in the future, and likely is today, incorporating this kind of technology. Like with games, you can actually incorporate NFTs and blockchain technology into a game and really change the whole experience. Also, blockchain is changing the web, like web applications. Instead of building a web application or a website the regular way, you can build it on top of blockchain technology. So it just changes the way that the web app is built. It makes it faster, more secure. It makes it more encrypted. Just in general, it has tons of benefits that we'll get into throughout our masterclass come January. And as well, blockchain is changing the world with Web 3.0. We had Web 1.0 back in the 80s when we just had static web pages and few people could edit these pages, few people went to these pages. Now, currently, we're in Web 2.0 where we have social media, we have a lot of people using the web. And then already being developed is Web 3.0, which will overtake Web 2.0. Web 3.0 is very exciting. It is a new form of the web which uses blockchain decentralized technology. And it really changes the web. It makes it faster. It makes it more encrypted. All of the general benefits of a decentralized project in general and more. Also, blockchain is changing tons of companies. As I already mentioned, there's lots of money being invested. Companies are incorporating blockchain technology into their infrastructure because it saves them money, really. That's why companies do anything, because it saves them money. That's the primary reason, but also because blockchain has tons more benefits as well. And blockchain is changing transactions. It's not just changing companies and industries in this general sense or on these large scales where companies are getting the blockchain technology. It changes daily life as well. In the future, and to some extent today, and then more and more so as time goes on, it will change daily life, how we make a transaction, how we make a big purchase or a small purchase. There's tons of benefits that we'll get into, and still tons of problems to be solved and innovations that have yet to be innovated with blockchain. So there's a lot of opportunity for you as a blockchain programmer to get into this exciting field. And blockchain is the future of the internet. Also, by learning blockchain, you will be able to make better investments. You'll be able to avoid scams and just in general, make better investments and make better informed decisions with where you put your money, where you put your time, where you put your career, where you put your passion, your interest in general. And there's tons of job prospects, as we already said, with blockchain, because tons of companies are hiring developers. It's hard to find blockchain developers because universities don't teach this at the fast enough rate that they need to, just because there's a lot of processes that are required to get a university course instantiated. So that's why a lot of people that want to learn this, that need to learn this for work, they have to learn it online, because it's the only way really to learn it is doing it yourself, taking an online course, trying to grapple on the internet. So that's why we designed this masterclass, to give you a streamlined way of learning the blockchain, to help you build those practical projects that it's really hard to find a streamlined way to learn this. So those are some of the top reasons to learn blockchain. I'm sure a lot of you have your own reasons, and there really are tons, but those are the top reasons to learn the blockchain. Let's go to the next slide. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them at any time. Our next topic for tonight is going to be, what is a blockchain in the first place? Because yes, we just talked about a ton of benefits, but what is a blockchain anyway? We're going to explain it simply tonight and then more in detail in the masterclass. A blockchain really is the name itself, a chain of blocks. You can visualize it just as a bunch of blocks connected in a chain. Now, it's not literally a chain, but that is a visual metaphor that you can use. Blockchain is actually made up of code, and that is a way to visualize the data structure that is actually built with code. And all these blocks, they store data. So it's a bunch of data connected, and the chain cannot be broken. You can put tons of different types of data onto a blockchain. You could put data about a transaction. You could put data about a person. You could put data about any kind of financial instrument. You could put data about something that happened in a game. And even more, there's tons of opportunity that really is not even been imagined yet. The number one property that you should know about a blockchain, if you're going to remember anything from this webinar, is that the point of a blockchain is to establish trust between intermediaries or parties without any middle party. The middle party in a transaction of a blockchain is the blockchain itself. For example, let's say you want to make a purchase, like you want to buy a house. If you've ever bought any kind of purchase that is that big, like a house or even a car, you know that it can be very tedious, very annoying, because you have to go through, sign a bunch of contracts, you have to go to the lawyer, you have to go to mortgage broker. But if you instead use a blockchain technology to make the transaction, you can do it very quickly. It can be done much faster, and you can have that trust established when you make the purchase without having to have a bunch of middle parties in between you that you have to jump through, who are taking their own cut from the transaction, I might add. So that's the number one property of a blockchain, to establish that trust without having to have all those middle parties. Now, there are tons more properties of a blockchain, but that is one of the top ones that is stated. In terms of a technical definition of a blockchain is a timestamp series of immutable transactions. That means that if you add a block to the chain, you can never take it off. You can't cut the chain in half. You can't undo a transaction. And that's part of why the blockchain is so trustworthy. Because if I make a purchase with the blockchain, if I give my $1 million for my house and that transaction is added to the chain, the person that I bought it from cannot take the chain off. So it helps you avoid getting scammed in general. It helps you rest assured and sleep at night that there has been trust established. You do own that house because no one can rip that chain, that block off the chain. And a blockchain is managed by computers. And these computers are all over the world. And if you wanted to, you could actually connect your computer and be one of the computers that is part of the network that creates a blockchain. Because at the end of the day, this code of a blockchain, this visual chain, it's being stored and constantly updated by computers all around the world that are connected together just by network. There are actually tons of blockchains out there. The very first one was built in 2008. It was proposed by Satoshi Nakamoto, who's actually an anonymous party that we still don't know who it is, but they wrote a white paper that proposed the Bitcoin blockchain, which was the first blockchain. But even back in the 90s, there was the concept of a blockchain theorized, but then it was officially white papered in 2008. That was the first time that a blockchain was proposed and built. Then in 2015 came the Ethereum blockchain. And this is another type of blockchain, and this will be the focus of our masterclass, the Ethereum blockchain. Why did we choose the Ethereum blockchain when there are quite a few out there? And in fact, you could build your own if you wanted to. The reason is that the Ethereum blockchain was specifically built in order to address problems of the Bitcoin blockchain, and it was built to add new features to the Bitcoin blockchain, specifically for building decentralized software. So instead of just using the blockchain for transaction, buying a pizza with my Bitcoin, instead, you could use the same technology, this decentralized technology of a blockchain, to do other things, not just transactions, but tons of different financial instruments. And as we already said today, the web, games, etc. So that is an introduction to what is a blockchain. Let's go to our next slide and our next topic. Next up, we're going to talk about Solidity smart contracts. We're talking about this because we're going to be building tons of smart contracts in our masterclass. A smart contract is how everything works on a blockchain. If you want to make a coin, like your own Bitcoin, you write a contract to make that coin. If you want to build your own NFT, you write a contract for that NFT. If you want to build a financial instrument, like you want to build a company that uses blockchain technology to handle mortgage loans, well, for that, you would have to write contracts. So everything is done with contracts. A contract is just how it is in English. It's an agreement. If I sign a contract that says I will pay my mortgage, that means I have signed it, it's official. It's an agreement to do something. And a smart contract is the same thing. It's an agreement, but it's written with code. That's why it's smart, like a smartphone. Solidity is the programming language used to build these contracts, because you're not writing these contracts in English, you're writing them with code. And the programming language is Solidity. Some of you in the chat said that you have some coding experience, which is great. If you don't have coding experience, that's also fine. We will take you from a nobody, a beginner, to knowing Solidity from scratch. Solidity is most similar to JavaScript, if any of you have JavaScript experience, but there are a lot of key differences still, but that is the closest language to Solidity. So a smart contract, as we've said, it's an agreement and it's built with code. It is a computer program that uses decentralized technology. When you put a smart contract onto the blockchain, you cannot take it back. As we already said, when you add a block to the blockchain, you can't cut it off and take it back. And the same thing with a contract. Once you deploy a contract, you cannot take it back. And that's part of what makes blockchain more secure. It's what makes it trustworthy. It's what makes it actually valid to be used in these high-level transactions, like sending billions of dollars, or even just buying a pizza, or building some kind of financial instrument like a crowdfunding campaign, or a lottery, or a loan, a bank, or even something that's non-financial like voting for an official in a vote. And any other type of contract that you want to build. You're not limited to just financial instruments or voting. There are tons of different contracts that you can build. And more ideas are being developed daily for different industries. Even something like music or games, which you might not think use blockchain technology, they can use blockchain technology. And likely over time, more and more industries will start to incorporate blockchain technology into their current systems. And as we said, Solidity is the coding language for writing these contracts for the Ethereum blockchain. Ethereum is a very popular blockchain, way up there, the #1 for building decentralized web applications, so websites that use decentralized technology, the #1 for building these types of financial instruments. And Solidity is specifically for Ethereum. So it is a very in-demand programming language and has similarities to other languages. So it is a great language to learn. And regardless of where you go in the future as a blockchain programmer, Solidity is a great place to start. And it is commonly used. So for the time being, it's the #1 out there for building these smart contracts. And it's actually easy to get started. You can start building contracts online at remix.ethereum.org. You can start playing around and actually coding in Solidity quite quickly. So it's very easy to get started. Now, as you want to build more and more complicated contracts, then you have to go offline. You have to get a bit more complex, but you can already start playing around at remix.ethereum.org, the official online editor. So that is an introduction to Solidity smart contracts. And I see we got a question. Could you put the name of the site here? Yes, remix.ethereum.org.
There you go.
Yes.
We also have one under Q&A. So maybe this, do you consider blockchain a type of self-learning AI? Is what Ronaldo asked.
A type of self-learning AI. I wouldn't consider it to be an artificial intelligence, because when a blockchain gets data, it's not learning from the data, because when you have an AI or a machine learning model, it will take data and it will train itself on that data to produce some result, whereas a blockchain is not training itself or producing any kind of smart output. You could combine machine learning with blockchain technology together, but the blockchain itself is more like a database for storing the data. And then you would have to add the AI, the machine learning yourself to then actually do something with the data. All right, let's go on to our next topic, unless anyone has any other questions, and feel free to drop them at any time. Our next and final topic of the night will be cryptocurrencies and NFTs, because in our masterclass in January, we're going to be building out smart contracts together, some of which will be for a cryptocurrency and an NFT, as well as many others. You might have heard these terms flying around in the news, along with many other terms, as blockchain becomes more and more unavoidable in tons of industries. So let's get started with a cryptocurrency. A cryptocurrency is a digital currency, and it is secured by cryptography, which makes it almost impossible to counterfeit or to double spend. Double spending is a problem with regular currency, where you might try to buy a course online, and then if you are someone who's trying to double spend, you might try to buy something else with the same currency. And that is the double spending problem, where it's hard to track if someone has tried to spend the same money twice. So with a cryptocurrency, the money that you have is a lot more secure and harder to counterfeit, harder to double spend. So it's a lot more trustworthy in terms of its value. Some examples of a cryptocurrency are Bitcoin, which was the first cryptocurrency. We have Ether, ADA, and tons more cryptocurrencies. If you wanted to, you could build your own cryptocurrency, and we will learn how to build a cryptocurrency smart contract in January. Now let's talk about a crypto versus a token, because these two can often be confused. Crypto versus token. A cryptocurrency will have its own blockchain. For example, the Ether cryptocurrency has the Ethereum blockchain. The Bitcoin cryptocurrency has the Bitcoin blockchain. Whereas a crypto token is slightly different because it's built on an existing blockchain and it can represent an asset, such as we've listed some below: DAI, Link, Comp, and CryptoKitties. And we'll be talking more about cryptocurrencies, tokens, and the general landscape of blockchain and cryptocurrency in our masterclass. We'll talk about how you can buy cryptos, how to make the right purchases, how to have a wallet, how to build NFTs, how to trade them, and more. So what is an NFT? Because in our masterclass, we'll also be building a smart contract for an NFT. An NFT stands for a non-fungible token. So it is that crypto versus token scheme. But instead of being a cryptocurrency, with an NFT, you cannot replicate it. It is non-fungible. And NFTs are often used to build collectible and unique crypto assets. For example, a sneaker company may choose to create an NFT of a specific sneaker to boost their sales or just to sell them online. Now, initially, it was hard for people to understand, why would anyone buy something that is virtual when they could instead buy the real version? Well, just like any other stock, the value is in if people are actually buying it, and people are buying NFTs quite a lot. There's a lot of investment done with NFTs. Celebrities are getting behind NFTs. Tons of companies are, and NFTs are not just for investing, for buying and selling, but they can actually be used to represent assets such as, we said, sneakers. They could be used to represent anything that you wanted to, like a product or some kind of digital art, or they could be used inside of a game. An NFT could be used as a character. You could have a game where you make purchases with cryptocurrency to buy NFTs in the game and then use the NFTs in the game. So that is an overview of cryptocurrencies and NFTs. Don't worry if you haven't understood everything in today's webinar, because we're going to be explaining it all in much more detail in January in our masterclass, where we'll talk about these topics and much more of the crypto landscape and talk about the more technical aspects. And of course, we'll get into coding. The majority of the course will be building projects and actually getting those results of building out all these different types of smart contracts that you can use in different industries. And I see we have another question from Ronaldo, whom I do remember from last time. Great to see you again. Would we need to get a visual designer to make the art for a custom art NFT? You could get a visual designer if you wanted to, or you could just build the art yourself. It all depends on what kind of NFT you are creating. For an NFT, you don't even need to have art. It could be some other kind of representation that is non-art. Like you could represent a piece of land with NFT, some kind of virtual model with NFT, or a piece of real estate, an office building. You don't have to just represent art with an NFT. There are lots of possibilities and a lot of innovation that is yet to be created. But great question. That is amazing. Hope we answered it well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Alexandra. And I very much echo that. I think right now NFTs are making this is a thing, right? Like whenever something becomes big, it becomes this big splash. Everyone talks about it. Selling art and NFTs, obviously there's money in it, right? I think it's way more interesting to take like physical objects or like real, it's one thing to sell a Banksy on an NFT. That's cool. And, obviously worth a lot of money. It's in the news, right? But like you said, what if we took a house and turned that into an NFT? What if we took a car and turned that into an NFT? What if we had insurance that was on the blockchain? What if we had, someone brought this up to me recently, and I thought this was very cool. Personal injury, right? When you go to a lawyer, personal injury, you need to get some sort of funding for that. What if you did that through a blockchain? There's so many possibilities. And I think in general, it's kind of like what you said, right? It's getting rid of the middleman, right? Like we don't need financial institutions anymore. Why do banks exist? Banks exist because they provide that layer of trust, right? because I can go to a bank and I could say, they're going to give me a loan. I can trust them. They're going to give me my money, or I'm going to, get some sort of insurance, right? And I know they're going to pay me because there's some legal whatever. I mean, you could do all that sort of thing through software, through a blockchain. And to be honest with you, that's just getting started, right? Just like how software, when Facebook or Google or whatever, they took over some aspect of the normal, quote unquote, normal world, right? People used to think, okay, well, what is the software going to do? It's going to do, oh, I relate to this and how I see it now. But then once you've done that, there's all these more things you could build on top of it, right? That's the way, I don't know if you see it the same way, but that's the way that I definitely see blockchain. It's like, we can replace financial institutions. That's kind of the main thing, right? Like Goldman Sachs, eat your heart out kind of thing, right? But once you do that and you do it with software, the beautiful thing with software is you can build on top of it. You can create all these new types of things. I think it's beautiful. I think the possibilities are endless. And me as a finance major, as I have my master's in finance, I've worked on Wall Street for a number of years. This is something else. I think this is going to turn the financial industry upside down. It already is starting to. We're already seeing that. People are worried about the blockchain. Bitcoin fell 20%. Who cares? It's up like 6,000% in the past 5 years. Who cares about 20%? It's meaningless, right? It's like, this is the next thing. This is I think one of the most important technologies that we have coming forward in the world. I think it's like AI. AI is obviously very important. Blockchain is way up there. Maybe self-driving cars, but it's still AI, or electric cars. But I mean, blockchain, I think, is one of the most important things that you could possibly work on, especially if you're in the finance industry, right? Especially if you work at one of these big banks. I mean, wow, you can add a lot of value, Um, that's my 2 cents, right? I don't know if you agree with that or not, Alexandra, but I'm excited about it.
Oh, yes, I definitely agree.
Absolutely. Very cool. Thank you very much for that presentation, Alexandra. Before I move on, I'm going to talk about the course, right? I'm going to tell you guys about how you guys can learn from Alexandra. And obviously she knows her stuff, and we've gone through this and she's great at what she does. Wait until you actually see her in her element, teaching you how to code and teaching you how to actually build these things. But before I get into kind of the details of how you could join in on this and how you can learn how to build these sort of things, what questions do you guys have? I'd love to hear from you guys. I mean, this is a dialogue, right? I'd love to hear from you guys. I'd love to hear what you guys think and how we could do this better. And in general, improve, I'll let you guys type it out. But maybe, I'll continue. I'll tell you guys about the course, right? So this course is going to be fantastic. As I said, I'm going to be joining this course as well. I'll tell you what, this course starts, I think, end of January 20 something, right? I'm very excited to join this. What I plan on doing is I plan on making LumiCoin. I plan on taking our courses, turning them into NFTs. A passion that I've had for quite a while is turning real estate into an NFT. I've had a passion to do that for quite a while. I think it would add a lot of value to the world. I think it would change that one thing, that one little thing in blockchain. I think could be worth multi-billions of dollars done right. The rest of the industry, like, think about how big this could be, right? But let me tell you about this course. How do we get started? How do we get into this, right? How do we start learning about the sort of thing and start building things and start creating and getting into this sort of thing, right? We have this course here. It's called Blockchain Programming, right? The reason why it's called Blockchain Programming is you're not just learning about blockchain itself. There's the theory behind it and that sort of thing, and we hear this everywhere, right? But really, it's about how do you code in blockchain, right? How do you write these smart contracts and build a part of the blockchain, really, with code, right? That's what this whole thing is about. The software is eating the world kind of thing. how do you join in on that? How do you become part of that blockchain and be that part that actually adds a lot of value, right? That's what this is all about. Building your own smart contracts, creating your own cryptocurrencies, creating your own NFTs, creating a voting mechanism, creating like, Nike, like for example, Nike has, NFTs for their shoes. How do you do that sort of thing? Maybe you can get a job at Adidas and do the same thing there, right? Like, you know what I mean? There's so many possibilities here, right? So it's blockchain, but it's blockchain programming. It's very hands-on, very, software centric, right? We have a chat here. So Mikhail says, which jobs can be involved with crypto programming? I think a lot of jobs. I think there's a lot. And like almost anything finance. I mean, Nike, they're making this sort of thing. I think go to the competitor, go to Adidas and pitch the idea, right? I'm sure they'll be down. Fubu, right? But Alexandra, do you have a thought on that?
Oh, yes. Any company that is implementing blockchain technology and hiring developers. Likely at this point, it will be a larger company that has the most funding for it, or a new company that is specifically for blockchain development. So sometimes a large company will bring on blockchain developers in order to implement some kind of blockchain technology into their existing structure. And this could be across any industry. Like if you're working for a game development company, then as a blockchain programmer, you will program the blockchain part of the game. So you'll take whatever part of the company needs to connect to the blockchain and you'll make that connection. So this could be for a game, it could be for a music company. Likely it will be a larger company if it is a company that is in any industry, or it will be a smaller company that is specifically doing blockchain things. So you could be a blockchain developer in a company that is specifically building decentralized websites, or a company that is specifically building smart contracts for finance. And I can see
Absolutely.
Rob here.
Yeah, so I mean, just out of my own curiosity, right? Glassdoor, I think, is a great way to figure out salaries and that sort of thing, right? Blockchain front end developer, 115 to 130K. Blockchain council, Salesforce. I don't know if it's a Salesforce developer. Let's look at blockchain developer, right? Let's look at like blockchain developer, right? And let's see what those salaries are, because these, from what I've heard from recruiters, it's kind of ridiculous the amount of money they're paying, right? Accenture. It's not always the most organized. But, we're looking at like 120, 130K, 160K, right? 161K, like well-paid salaries, like you're making good money doing this sort of thing. These are $82 an hour. That works out to be quite a bit. I'll be honest with you, I hear from recruiters all the time. This is like such a high demand skill right now. Think about how quickly Bitcoin and Ethereum's gone up. Like seriously, because I've worked at Voyager before, I worked at a blockchain company before, or crypto company before. Non-stop. I get like job offers. I run my own company now, so I'm not interested in taking a job. But Jesus, like the amount of people that are interested in this, the amount of companies are hiring this, these, and to be honest with you, think about this, blockchain developer, think about this, 111K. This is an entry level position. Let me tell you why it's an entry level position, because nobody knows how to do this. If you have 6 months of experience, you're the expert. You know what I mean? So honestly, it's a little wild. Like honestly, if you're talking about job prospects, it's a very good situation to be in terms of making money, getting a job.
Yes, there's also tons of opportunity for freelancing or starting your own business. And I can see we have another question. After the course, the one can become a blockchain developer. Yes, we'll take you from, even if you don't know how to code, we'll take you from zero to knowing how to code in Solidity, understanding the cryptocurrency landscape, all of the terms, building some simple smart contracts, then building more advanced smart contracts like a bank contracts that you'll see at these jobs that they're implementing, to building a coin, to building an NFT contract, to then deploying those. So actually seeing them in use on these test nets, on these websites. So yes, after the course, you will have the skills to be able to apply for these jobs, to build more of your own contracts, and you'll have the proof, because a lot of these companies are looking for not just have you taken a course or have you gotten a degree in it, which is not really possible, but they're looking at what projects you have. Do you actually have the skills? They're going to be asking for, can you code in Solidity? Can you build a contract to do this? And so if you can prove that you can do that, then you can get the job.
Absolutely. I've actually never seen this before on Glassdoor. Very high confidence in 105K salary. I've actually never seen it on Glassdoor before. Very cool. We have another chat here. So how? I guess the question is, how do we become a blockchain developer? I'm sorry, it's a very broad question. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that, Mikhail.
I think maybe I understand. A lot of these companies, they are using the same processes, the same skills, the same libraries, like Solidity, Ganache, Truffle, all these different libraries. They're using the same kinds of skills and libraries. So we'll teach you how to have those same skills, how to use those libraries to do what the companies are asking you to do.
Absolutely. It says, he also says that no to prove real projects participation. I mean, you're going to come out of this course with projects, right? That's the whole point. This is a very hands-on course. You know, we talked about this from the very beginning. We're not talking with theory. We're talking about, you're going to come out of this, you're going to have real projects that you've built out. Like, I'll be honest with you. I have a master's degree. I love education. I'm a big fan. We run an education company, right? I love this kind of stuff, but really doing hands-on things is I think the most important. You know, you come out of this course with something tangible, right? You've built something, you've created something that matters, right? I think that's very important. And I know, Alexandra, you agree with this, and you talk about this all the time, actually. You know, come out of this and not only do you know how to build this sort of thing, whatever, but you're going to have projects that you can put in your resume, right? You're going to have things that you can say, look at what I've built. You can go on the blockchain, you can see my coin, right? Like that. How cool is that? Imagine, you know, Mikhail, we make a coin named after you, put on the blockchain. What about you put that on your resume? Like how much does that speak to your resume, right? I think that's very valuable, right? What do you think, Alexandra?
Yes, and we can show you the curriculum as well to tell you in more detail about the kinds of projects that will build, the smart contracts that will build, and the tools that we're using, because we're using the top tools that all of these companies are going to be using.
Absolutely. Okay, well, I think that's a good segue. You know, we'll get back to the course. So let me tell you about the course. Let me tell you about what you guys are actually going to learn, what you're going to get out of this, right? So first of all, we have 3 different plans, right? We have our self-directed plan, which basically is you're going to watch the pre-recorded videos. Basically, you're going to watch the videos of the class that has happened, right? And you're going to watch the recordings of them, right? You're not going to be participating in the class, right? You're going to watch the videos and you're going to be able to ask questions. You'll still have access to Alexandra. You'll still be asking questions. You'll still be able to communicate over Discord. You know, we'll still be able to get on, you know, some amount of live classes. There's less of them in live one-on-one discussions. You can't do it as much in the self-directed class, but you still get access to that. That's what the self-directed class is all about. You get access to our community, you get access to the class recordings, you still get access to Alexandra, ask her questions, ask the team questions, that sort of thing. That's what it's all about. It's self-directed. The reason why we call it self-directed is because it's class recordings, right? You watch the recordings and you kind of have to get yourself through it yourself, right? The live classes, this is our most popular plan by far. I'll tell you that much. Everyone loves this sort of thing. And the reason why is because it's like being in a real classroom, right? So imagine this, you know, right now we're in a live kind of situation. You guys can ask questions, you can chat, you can write them out a little bit, right? But in a live class, you can have your microphone on, your camera on, it's like you're there in person. So if Alexandra, she's talking about something and you're like, what are you talking about? What's going on here, right? You could be like, can you please explain that? Please tell me what you mean by that. Can you give me an example, right? Or maybe you're stuck on your computer. We do this in our algorithmic trading courses, right? People get stuck. Oh, my computer's not working. Something's not right here. The funny thing about software is that when you're doing it right, like you go very quickly, right? But when you get stuck, you really get stuck, right? It takes you 4 hours to figure out something that's so like, what the heck, right? Honestly, people will get on the phone with me that 4 hours that they spent will solve in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? It just takes that, that little bit of understanding. It's someone who knows the topic very well that can get past that, right? And that's what the live classes are all about, right? You are a participant in this class. When Alexandra's speaking and when she's articulating this class, you can ask her questions. You say, what do you mean by that? Or, I'm stuck here. Can you help me with this? You can share your screen. You can have this dialogue, right? Which is amazing to help you get unstuck. It's also amazing for your motivation. I'll tell you that much, right? When you're watching videos on YouTube, it's okay, right? Like you kind of, sometimes your eyes glaze over a little bit, right? But when you're live, it's like this, there's a reason why people love live sports, right? Would you rather watch a recording of a basketball game or would you rather watch it live, right? It's like that sort of thing. It's much more engaging. And I think that's very important for education, right? You get to ask those questions, you're engaged, you get to know other people in your class. It's really this live nature of it is a beautiful thing. And really our students love it and they really come out of this doing some great things. I'll tell you, our students in the past that have done the live courses, they've built some amazing, amazing stuff. I mean, this is a blockchain course. It's not the algorithmic trading course, but I could tell you our algorithmic trading students, they've done some amazing things. And I'm really proud of them. And they've done, we're building a website to showcase their work. It's that great. Really, live classes are amazing. I'd very much encourage you guys to look at this plan. And really the difference is you get to be a live participant in the class. You get to know other students in the class. You get to ask questions. It's this regular meeting that you have. We meet every week. I think this one's on Wednesdays, Thursdays. So I forget the exact day. We meet once a week, every week, and it's like you have to show up. You get your homework done. It's like being in a classroom, right? And it's I don't know about you guys. COVID, it's nice to be part of that, right? There's a lot to it. There's a lot of value to that sort of thing, right? So that's our most popular plan, the live classes. Then we have this is our premium plan, right? The project help and tutoring, right? If you really want to, like, let's say you really want to build some amazing stuff. I have this great idea for an NFT. I want to build out some cryptocurrency, whatever. This is the plan for you because you're going to get a lot of time with Alexandra. She's going to block off time just for you, right? To spend teaching you about whatever, like one-on-one. You need help with this sort of thing, we'll walk through it. I mean, we have like a team of developers that can actually help you build out projects if you need, right? This is what it's all about. The project help and tutoring plan. This is the white glove service. You need help. You want us to like really build things out for you. This is what it's all about. This is that premium package. We will make sure that the project that you have in your mind, we're going to make sure that happens. This is it, the project help and tutoring plan. Okay. Here's the pricing for all of them. Right. So self-directed plan, as I said, we could walk through this: lifetime access to our video library, lifetime access to our code, access to our community, instructor support. But really, this is all about it's the pre-recorded classes. You get access to our community. You get to ask Alexandra questions. It's limited. You don't get to, if you want to spend 20 hours a week, I mean, that's a little crazy, but you're going to have that access to Alexandra. You could ask questions. You could ask them over Discord, that sort of thing. This is a self-directed plan. It's the pre-recorded lectures, right? The live classes, $3,500. By the way, and we have this up here, they all have payment plans, right? We have 3 or 5 month payment plan. You pay up front, or you pay 3 months or 5 months for any one of these. So don't feel like you have to pay all of them up front. Okay. So that includes all of them, right? But for live classes, $3,500. This is really where everyone tends to go, right? This is the main thing. right? $3,500. By the way, actually, sorry, I forgot to mention, we're having a Black Friday deal. If you guys buy today, you save 25%. If you choose not to buy today, we still have a an early bird special. I think, when does it go on till? It goes on until December 27th. You have an early bird special to save 20%, right? So you save 20% until December 27th. If you want to save 25%, right, which is a good amount of money, right? I mean, for 3,500 bucks, 25%, that works out to, what was that, like $700, $800, right? You save a lot of money, right? If you want to save that money, buy today, right? Sign for the 3 or 5 month payment plan, right? It's not a ton of cash you have to give out right now. But anyways, the live classes, right? The live class is really, again, like, to reiterate it, the $3,500, 20% off or 25% off if you sign up soon. 25% today, 20% in the future. But basically, it's, you get to interact with Alexandra, and I think, to me, I'm enjoying that. Luckily, I'm the one that, we're doing this, but I would pay this in a heartbeat, to be part of this and actually get Alexandra's feedback on, I'm building the smart contract. Am I doing it right? You know what I mean? Like, if I want to build Lumicoin, and am I doing something that's going to, like, mess people up? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that feedback is so important, right? And that's what live classes really are. It's like, not only is she going to teach you how to do this, but you can ask the questions throughout. Believe me, Alexandra, and I'm telling this to you directly. When I'm in this class, I'm going to be asking lots of questions. Because, that's the whole point of this. It's the whole point of the live class, is to get that feedback and to see how you're doing, right? Especially when it comes to finance, right? Like, you don't want to build something that, who knows? You build a smart contract that, you've heard these horror stories of people building smart contracts that, lost a bunch of money and whatever. You want to get that feedback, right? I think that's very important, So the live classes, that's the big one. And then again, the premium package, right? The premium package is this project help and tutoring plan, 5,300 bucks, right? If you really care about the stuff, you want to build something amazing. By the way, speak to your companies. Maybe they'll pay for this. Wink, wink, right? Honestly, seriously, we've actually had a couple students where company paid flat out the whole fee, just because this is the new and big topic in finance, and every finance company wants their employees educated in this stuff. I bet you they'll be able to pay for these things for you, right? Even for the most premium package, where you'll be able to get on the phone with Alexandra as much as you want. She'll be on the phone with you. She can help you with whatever you need to have built. If you need to have software engineers to actually even build things for you, we'll even get involved with that as well. Believe me, we have a big software team. We could help you out with whatever you need to have built, right? So that's a premium package, the project help and tutoring, right? Basically, it's everything that you have here, and you have the live classes, you get the custom project, you get 12 hours one-on-one video and phone sessions. Whatever you need, we'll do it for you, right? Okay, cool. So those are our plans. Let me know if you have any questions around that. All right, I'm gonna keep scrolling down here. You can learn about the learning outcomes, learn about blockchain development. I'm sure you guys know about this stuff, but if you're interested in learning a little bit more about what are crypto coins or NFTs, we have a little bit of stuff here. These guys, I swear, I think what are these, the APIOTs or whatever. I think these guys sold for like $1 million, one of these, or one of these sold for like 20 million. It's a little ridiculous, these things. Tory Lanez, I don't know if you guys are into hip hop. I think I've listened to one or two of his songs. I like hip hop music. I don't know Tory Lanez that well. But this guy put his entire new album as an NFT, and apparently made a ton of money doing it, right? So basically, it's a new way of monetizing artwork, right? It's really quite interesting. Read about it a little bit. Here's a little bit of the stuff, but I would encourage you to kind of go into the details, because there's a lot of innovation happening here, and you can be one of those people that is part of the future, or you could be one of those that regrets in the future. I don't know, right? This is the way I think about it. But definitely read up a little bit on it, and here's at least a blurb to get you started, right? We have a chat here. Any updates with paying using Bitcoin, Litecoin, VGX? Ronaldo, I like the question. If we can, could we pay using a mix of crypto and cash? Hey, Ronaldo, just for you, because I know you, if you want to pay me in Bitcoin, I'm more than happy to accept it. I'll give you access to the course, no problem. You can pay me in Bitcoin all you want. Whether our payment gateway can accept it or not, that's a technical issue. We'll figure it out. But if you want to buy the course and pay me in Bitcoin, by all means, I'll give you my Bitcoin address, no problem. We can figure that out. You can pay me in Bitcoin, you can pay me in Litecoin, you can pay me in Ether. I don't care. Having our payment gateway set up for that is a little bit more complicated, right? Because we have to it's WooCommerce. I have to figure out how to actually make that work. It's a technical issue, right? But if you want to pay in Bitcoin, Litecoin, VGX, Ethereum, Solana, name it, whatever you want to pay in, I don't care. Send over, no problem. You can pay me in Ethereum. We can get you in on that course. All right. Cool. It's a good question, and I really want to get that up and running. It's the technical. It's a new thing. It's a new thing, right? It's anytime there's a new thing like this happening, it takes a while for technology to catch up. Right. Cool. All right. So here's a course curriculum. I think probably the best person to walk through a course curriculum is, of course, Alexandra. Do you want to talk about this and what the students will learn?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Yes, and hopefully we can have all these, every website soon can be paying with crypto. It's just a matter of those companies hiring the blockchain developers to get that implemented.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'm happy to go through the curriculum. In week 1, we're going to do an introduction. We'll introduce all the students. You can meet everyone else that will be part of the course. We'll talk about blockchain solidity and smart contracts in general, talking about all the terms you need to know, the crypto landscape, more technical and detailed than what we did today. We'll also introduce Remix, so we'll be able to start coding some of our first Solidity code to get hands-on. Then in the next weeks, that's when we're going to really code completely. Week 2, we're going to learn Solidity fundamentals. We'll talk about fundamental programming topics of the Solidity programming language. So everything you need to know to learn how to code if you've never coded before. If you have coded before, Solidity has some key differences that can be very frustrating if you don't know them. So you still need to learn Solidity. It's tempting to just jump right into building smart contracts, but then you'll quickly find yourself hitting roadblocks if you don't actually know how to code in Solidity. So that is week 2. Then in week 3, we'll build some of our first smart contracts. We'll build tons of contracts in the course in different applications, like for storing data, for splitting profits, and just in general covering different things that a contract could do, because you could build a contract for so many different applications. So as long as you know how to build contracts in general and how to add specific features for what your task is, then you can build any contract that you are tasked to build, as long as you have the framework of how to do it in general and then how to add those extra features, whatever they are. Then in part 2, we'll go to Solidity advanced concepts. So in week 4, we'll talk about inheritance. This is a huge topic in programming, so we've dedicated week 4 to it. We'll build contracts with inheritance. So throughout the weeks, every time we introduce a topic, we'll show you how you can directly implement that topic. So this course is definitely more hands-on than theory. In week 5, we'll build more contracts that are more complex, like abstract contracts, bank contracts and libraries, and contracts with features like a time limit. Then we'll go to part 3, building and deploying an NFT and also building coins. So we'll talk about what is an NFT, how they work in general, what are the standards for building an NFT. We'll build a coin contract as well as an NFT contract, and we'll learn how we can deploy the token to a public testnet. So we'll learn how to use very popular libraries and tools like a MetaMask digital wallet and test nets, as well as marketplaces like OpenSea. And we'll learn how we can deploy our contracts, so actually send them out. And then in week 8, we are going to get really advanced and we'll learn how to use tools like Truffle and Ganache. These are very popular tools for building and deploying contracts. So we'll build a smart contract with Truffle and deploy it with a personal blockchain. And then we'll be finished and you'll know how to build smart contracts with a whole bunch of different tools. And you will be well on your way to covering more advanced personal projects like building a decentralized web application or building out a company that has a bunch of contracts working together for some kind of financial instrument, or building a game that implements NFTs and blockchain technology in the actual game, whatever kind of project you want to build that incorporates that blockchain aspect. And that is the curriculum. Any questions?
Very, very cool. Thank you, Alexandra. And we talk a little bit about course projects, but I think you could even get deeper into that. Before we get to that, I want to talk about a little bit about the next course that's starting. We've adjusted the date, and I think this makes a lot more sense. So the next course is starting on January 20th, right? This is a Thursday, so it's going to be every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Pacific, starting on January 20th, right? So you guys are going to have your holidays, you're going to have your, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you guys celebrate, right? You're going to have your New Year's, and then you're going to come back fresh, and we're going to learn some really cool stuff, and we're going to start 2022 with a bang, right? You're going to start off with learning some really, really cool stuff right on January 20th. After you've rested, you got your break in. Every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, we're going to learn, to change the world, to say the least. That's the way I feel, at least. It's an 8-week long course, right? Excluding holiday breaks. I don't think there's any holiday breaks during that time. So it's going to be 8 weeks long, starting January 20th, right? We recommend about 8 to 12 hours per week in self-paced learning. That's with any of our classes, we say that. I don't know if that's the same with this course specifically, but really it's good when you put in a little bit of your own effort, not just show up to class. Classes tend to be about 2 hours long, right? Give or take, right? Sometimes they're longer, sometimes they're shorter. I'll be honest with you, every time we do the algo trading class, they tend to be a little bit longer than 2 hours, right? But that's, people ask questions and that sort of thing, right? This is for you, right? This is, 2 hours long. You really get to learn. You absorb this material. It's not like watching a 2-hour long YouTube video. This is like you absorbing this, you being part of this community, you being really integrated into this, right? Starting January 20th, let's learn this. Let's change the world. Let's do something amazing. Every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Let's get it started, right? This is the January class, and I'm excited. I'm talking like this out because I'm excited. I'm excited about this. I can't wait to get started. Like I said, today, if you buy today, I think before midnight, which is Eastern time, 3 hours from now, right? If you buy within the next 3 hours, and you know what, let me actually find this Black Friday deal. You guys can save 25%, right? And I'm trying to find this coupon code here. Black Friday Lumiwealth. You guys probably all got it. If you guys were part of our thing, we've been saying this out all week. But I'm just trying to find this code for you guys so that you guys down to the last few hours. There it is. Okay. So I'm going to put into a chat. If you guys want to save 25%, I'm putting into a chat BLKFRILA 2021. That's the coupon code. If you put that in the next 3 hours, you will save 25%, which works out to like $800 or something. So it's a big savings. You save quite a bit of money if you put that in the next 3 hours. If not, it's okay, right? You still have your early bird special. You don't save 25, you save 20%. Fine, you miss out on that 5%, but that's available until December 27th, right? I would encourage you to save that 25%. 5% of $3,500 is a good amount of money, right? That's, what is that? What is the math? 5 times 35, right? Whatever that is. You save a couple $100 if you sign up within today, right? But even if you don't, you save that 20% until December 27th, right? So that's the story. That's our live class. That's when it's starting, January 20th, 8 weeks long, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Pacific, right? That's the important part. 2 hours per week, usually on average. And again, I put into the chat something where you could save 25%. You have that coupon code to do that. Or you could use this coupon code to save 20%, right? And then finally, we have our course projects. I'll let Alexandra talk about this. I think, we have our course projects of what we're doing, but then I think it's really important to talk about what is the outcomes of this class, right? What are you going to come out of this with, right? When you finish this class, what do you have to show for yourself? What can you put in your resume? What can you put on the blockchain? How can you make money? What is the outcome of this class? I think that's the important thing to talk about here. So Alexandra, what are your thoughts on that sort of thing?
Some of the outcomes would be that you know how to code in Solidity, that you have smart contracts that you can show that you have built, that you've deployed, that you've built from scratch and using the accepted standards for building specific types of tokens. And as well, you know how to use the top tools that all the companies are using, like Truffle and Ganache. You are able to use tools like MetaMask, as well as the command line. And you then can build out more projects as well after the course or during the course. For example, as we already mentioned, a bunch of them like decentralized web applications. But throughout the whole course, we'll be building tons of contracts that are applicable to different industries like data storage contracts, profit splitting contracts with different features, depending on what the contract is trying to establish. You'll be comfortable with minting tokens, usually using the Truffle command line, the Truffle console, and using a personal blockchain, deploying to test nets and main nets, being able to handle any task that the company wants. Because oftentimes, if you're applying for a job, they will have a specific set of tools that they're using. And as long as you know how to build projects with tools that are similar, or you know how to build a smart contract, you know how to code in Solidity, you understand if they give you a task to build a specific contract, you know how to go on the web and figure out what you need to build that specific contract that they ask you to do. Sometimes when you're applying for a job, they might give you a task as a test. And so if you can pass the test, then you are on to the next round of interview. So as long as you have the tools that we'll teach you in the masterclass, you will be good to go. So we'll build different contracts, learn how to code, and we'll deploy our contracts and build our coins and our tokens. And then this is just the beginning. You'll be able to specialize in whatever field you want after the course. And I see we got another chat message as well.
Yep.
Anything we could do in the meantime until the class begins to be more prepared by Ronaldo? Let's see. We will take you from scratch. Anyone who wants to take the course, even if they don't know anything about finance, don't know anything about blockchain, don't know anything about coding, they can still take the course. If you do want to prepare in the meantime, you can start learning on your own online. The problem is there's a lot of information out there. It can be very overwhelming to learn on your own if you are a complete beginner. So that's why we built this masterclass to streamline all this, to make it easy for beginners to learn. You can read books, watch videos, and to get prepared, you can start to experiment with Remix. But I think there's a huge benefit to the actual streamlining of it, especially for a beginner, to have it all broken down and to learn with us.
Yeah.
It makes it, yes, it makes it a lot more easy to understand. And just in general, you can rest that you're learning the correct things. You're not learning outdated things. But anything that you read or build in the meantime will help you get prepared.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alexandra. It's fantastic. Definitely. I think remix makes a lot of sense, you know, hands-on kind of thing, right? So I like remix. I feel like if I were going into this, I would sit down, like learn how to use remix, because then you could like actually get some sort of result from it, right? So it's great. Thanks, Alexandra.
Mhm.
If you guys want to learn more about Alexandra, we have a little bit of written stuff about her. You can go on her LinkedIn, learn about LinkedIn. You can watch a video that she recorded recently, right? So you can learn more about the instructor. If you want to learn more about Lumiwealth, we have had a lot of students, a lot of very successful students, a lot of very happy students. If you guys want to listen to some information about them, they're here. We're adding more. We honestly have a lot more reviews in this. Maybe we should add more of them, right? But if you want to learn about some of our past students, these are from our past courses, of course, because we've never taught blockchain before specifically. But if you want to learn about some of our past students and what they've done and what they've thought about our courses, this is the way to do it. You can watch these videos and learn about their backgrounds. Ronaldo, you're actually on here too, by the way. I know you gave us that quote back in the day. So yeah, so we have, you guys can learn about our past students. You can learn about all these different things, right? And I bet you it's from Ronaldo. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, Ronaldo, this is Ronaldo that gave us, you know, it's fantastic. Glad that you're on this too, you know, it's very cool. If you guys have any questions, you guys can book a call. You guys can see, you know, you can book this free live class. I mean, that's basically what we're doing right now. This is a webinar, right? But you guys can set up all these different things down here as well, right? So that's about it. That's pretty much everything that we have for today. We have here last class sold out, our class is sold out. By the way, keep this in mind. We are limiting our class to a certain amount of people, right? We're if we have more than 20 people sign up for this class, we're going to start to turn people down. And the reason why is whenever we have classes are too big, I find that it doesn't help our students very much. We want to keep our class sizes small. You hear this from, you know, anytime you're, think about this, you go to a private school, whatever, we want to have class sizes that are manageable so you could actually get a hold of Alexandra, you could ask her questions. There's no point in being part of a live class where you can't ask questions, right? Or you can't be part of this, or you can't be, you know. So we try to keep our class sizes small. So keep that in mind, right? If and by the way, we've already had quite a bit of demand. We've already have quite a few people signed up already, even after our last webinar, right? Even though the course is 2 months away, we already had a lot of people sign up for this class. So keep that in mind that, you know, at some point we're gonna have to start turning down people, right? So if you really want to reserve your seat in this class, make sure you sign up soon, because we are going to turn down people at some point. Mind you, you know, if we turn you down, maybe we'll come up with another class and maybe you'll join the next one. But we do want to keep class sizes small, because I think that's a very valuable thing when it comes to the live nature of this, right? So make sure you sign up. That's kind of my point here. Make sure you sign up. Make sure you get into this class, right? Cool. So that's about it. Questions, guys. You know, you've been asking questions throughout, but this is your time to really sit down and ask whatever you need to ask. We'll give you a little bit of time. Alexandra, I thought this was great. That was a great webinar.
Yes, we love all the questions that you guys asked. Always happy to answer now, or even if you have questions after the webinar, anything that you want to learn, any requests for the course, see what we can do. For sure.
Yeah. So we got these questions. We have to give them a little bit of time to type them out, right? So it takes some time to type out questions. So we'll give a little bit of time for you guys to type out questions. I have my own question, Alexandra. If you were Lumiwealth, right? If you were me, right? If you're in my position, what kind of coins or NFTs would you be interested in making for Lumiwealth in particular?
Let's see. Well, it's always good to start, you know, with a small project, because you can quickly get into scope creep if you suddenly want to implement some kind of huge project and you haven't never built a contract before. So I like your idea of starting with these small projects of the Lumi coin, your NFT for the courses that you have. And then as you start to learn more, I think you'll see what would fit with your company best, because you're not just limited to a coin or an NFT. You could also implement other blockchain technology into your website, into your messaging system, into your community system, how you handle payments, we saw. And really, there's a lot of opportunity throughout the whole system of how you run the company. And I think the best thing to do is just to start small, give yourself small goals as you start to learn the coding language, you start to learn how you can implement decentralized technology. I would have to know more about exactly what your company wants to do. You know, what are your goals? What I would list out all of the things you currently do, you know, all of the things involved in the business. And then I would start to see where you could put the blockchain technology in there, how you could connect it. Do you want to make something faster? Do you want to make something more secure? Do you want to implement something completely new? Do you want to just add blockchain or underneath a system as another layer just to make it work better? Do you want to offer some kind of new blockchain service? So there's really a lot to do, and I would try to list out and find the best opportunities. I would start with what you could have the fastest process for the highest reward. Otherwise, you can get stuck in a year-long project and you still don't have it done. So yeah, it would probably be a bit of planning first, and then I would start to find the best one thing and start coding it there.
Makes a lot of sense. It sounds to me a lot like agile development. Just get started, get something out there, and then iterate, right? Iterate and build. You know, that makes a lot of sense to me. I think that's great. We have a question here from Ronaldo. Does having a very strong PC make a difference when developing anything for the blockchain, or a regular spec PC would suffice?
A regular spec PC would suffice. We'll start by building our contracts online, then we'll build them offline. So we will use your command line, your terminal application. We will use applications like Ganache and just the command line. So for our masterclass, it doesn't make a difference for developing anything. If you're going to be building a project that's going to handle a lot of data, then just in general, that is going to require a faster processor. You could also use cloud computing to help you with that. That just gets into more complex projects if you're building those. If you are going to become a miner, or you want to do some kind of actual process with your computer, then that would involve a stronger computer. But for building contracts and deploying the contracts, then you don't need a stronger computer, because you're not actually one of the networks on the blockchain. You're just sending your project to the blockchain, and it's going to handle all that for you.
Awesome. Yeah, so in other words, you don't really need a very strong PC, right? A lot of this stuff is in the cloud, right? So you don't really need a very strong PC to do this sort of thing.
Right, and you can use a Mac. You can use Mac, Linux, Windows. Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah, very cool. Awesome. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions before we end it for the day? I thought it was very exciting. I'm very excited about this sort of thing. You know?
For sure, it's going to be exciting to see everyone go from not knowing very much at all to then, you know, getting these high-paying jobs, making their own projects, collaborating potentially. It'll be great to see what everyone will accomplish.
So Alexandra, I could tell you, we're working on a website right now where we're doing, you know, our main class is our algorithmic trading class. We're going to put our algorithms on a website so people can invest in our algorithms, right? We're building that sort of thing right now, like an investment, like call it a hedge fund, right? Like a different kind of hedge fund where you can like invest in us, right? I would love to build some blockchain contracts to add to that, right? And we're actually building the website in such a way where you can invest in an algorithm, or you can invest in a blockchain contract. You can invest in both, right? We're building that sort of thing. I think this is very exciting. I think it's going to be very cool to do this sort of thing. You know?
That sounds amazing. Yeah, I'm excited to see that live.
Yeah, definitely. I could show you soon. You know, we're getting there. It's I don't know, me personally, I get a little obsessive when I code, right? I think I spent 15 hours yesterday, just like woke up and just coded and went to sleep. My wife's watching me. She's like, do you want food? But got a lot done. I got a lot done in one day, or a couple of days actually, but yesterday was very productive. I'll show you soon. And I think we can collaborate on this and build some really cool stuff in the SaaS product as well. You know?
That's great. That's great when you can get so passionate into something that you see potential in.
Absolutely.
It's the best feeling.
Absolutely. Like I'm sure you do as well. You know?
Oh yeah.
Very cool.
Then you hit a bug and then you have to stop.
Well, that's why we have you, right? We could ask you questions, and Alexandra, get me unstuck, please. You know?
Oh yeah. You definitely need that second opinion.
Absolutely. Cool. Okay, so we're not getting too many more questions here. We've given us some time. Alexandra, honestly, very much appreciate you being part of this. I can't wait for this course. I can't say this enough. January 20th, I got it on my calendar. I hope everyone else here has that as well. Let's get this started. Let's change the world. You know, let's build some really cool stuff.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Have a good night. To you, Alexandra, and to everyone else on the call, thank you so much for being part of this call. It's you guys that make our company happen. So thank you very much for being part of this. And honestly, and for those of you, actually, for those of you I didn't get a chance to say this to, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. And if I don't get to see you again before then, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you guys celebrate. Happy New Year's. I hope you guys have a great holiday season and hope to see you in the class. Honestly, this has been amazing, and I hope you have a good night. All right. Good night, guys. Good night, Ronaldo.